indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Pettis?
Here.
Ms. George?
Here.
Ms. Ferguson? Here. Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
Ms. Lynn? Yes. Mr. Norberger?
Here.
Ms. Blanco? Here. Ms. West? Here. 9 present.
Thank you. We had a closed session prior to this meeting for legal, and we are going to have a closed session after for a legal and personnel. Let's get that up. We do have a presentation this evening from Mr. Fox. He's a Vice President of Independence Excavating. So, Mr. Fox?
Ready for me?
Yep, you have the floor.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name's Justin Fox. I am with Independence Excavating. The first thing I want to say to all of you is I live in Middlesex Township, so my wife and kids, well, my kids go to school here, my wife works here, but I just wanted to say thanks to all of you for getting us through what is hopefully unique and very trying 2020, so thank you. I've lived here now in Middlesex Township for 9 years, and I've worked for Independence Excavating about 20. Our company's been in Pittsburgh 10 years. We're based in Cleveland. We've been in business 65 years in totality. So I come before you tonight to present a proposal, very somewhat basic, simple, for those on TV. We can pull up the picture, and I'll try to explain this the best I can. If you have questions, jump in. This is a embankment concept. It's a conceptual plan. It comes off of 228 and basically is behind the existing baseball field there. And in essence, what we propose to do or asking your permission to do is fill that area with dirt. It's low lying right now. It's wooded, and we would go through, with your permission, we would go through the permitting process, the engineering process, mutually agree upon a final design, and in essence, raise the level of that area. And as I explained, and as this drawing shows, you will end up with a flat tabletop there. It will amount to another 6 or 7 acres of usable property for you at the end. And at that point, you know, it's a blank canvas of whether or not you want to use it for parking, another playing field, building, whatever you would want. And so, as I've told others, it would work well in conjunction with the project we're doing on 228 right now, or for some other future phase, depending on how long this permitting takes and the whole process. That's somewhat of a question mark. But it's a win-win. I propose to pay the school a royalty of $1 a cubic yard for every yard that's placed there. And that's really the gist of it. The drawings I've sent in or that are here tonight, that's what we would call a plan view. The darker the blue, the deeper the fill area, the lighter, the shallower. And we're thinking right now the final design would be somewhere in the 100 to 150,000 yard range. If you page through the documents, we ran a baseline through the fill and then cut a cross section at each place you see a number there. So we kind of give you just a basic idea of how much embankment we would be talking about putting in certain areas. You get the most fill in the upper right hand corner, and it kind of peters out to the left. So in closing, or I guess to sum it up, there's 8 acres there. At the end, you'd have about 6 more flat acres. The school would get between $100,000 and $150,000 in royalties. Independence Excavating would have a place to put embankment, and we would handle all the engineering, all the all the permitting, everything that had to go along with it.
You wanna talk a little bit about the, haul road that you would bring in?
Sure. I go up to that screen and point, that'll help everybody in this room.
It's just, I don't know how well they're gonna hear you though, as
Okay.
long as the public can hear.
So this black line here is your property line. This is 228. Here's Officer Brooks Way, correct? Yeah. So what we would look at doing is bringing a haul road in behind the existing baseball field and access this embankment area from this corner. We walked it a couple weeks ago. We think there's room there with safety, in mind. We would definitely have to do barricading there to make sure it's safe and probably barricade with a fence on top of it, so it's 100%, kids, pedestrians, whatever, we don't wanna cross paths, so that would be our plan, for that. Yes,
Hi,
hi,
what is the window of time that this filling project would happen? Would it be during the school year? And would it be during the school day?
great questions. The best answer, the most honest answer I could give you about time of year, I cannot tell you right now because it's really up to the permitting process. So if we come to and I'll answer that a little better as I talk here. If we start tomorrow with the permitting process, the fastest that happens is 90 days. The likelihood is you're probably 180 days, 270 days. If there's little blips of wetlands down there or something, and I'm talking a wetland the size of this table, you could be out past a year. So that sort of dictates that. Now, then if we get to a point where you're concerned that this needs to happen during summer months or when there's no, we could certainly discuss that. It may or may not be ideal for me, but I understand your concern. As far as time of day, I would think this would have to happen during daylight hours, regular Mars or Adams Township. I'm not sure where that actually lays. Is that Mars?
That's Middlesex.
Middlesex, whatever there, it's probably gonna dictate when I can be back there, because we're up against houses here in the back, and obviously schoolhouse here, no one's gonna be that excited about heavy construction.
And this dirt is coming from the Falls Bend phase of the PennDOT project, so that's the one that's starting very soon then?
And it started now,
Okay.
that's the concept, that's the genesis of
Right.
why I'm standing here. Now, again, candidly, I'm willing to make the investment and go through this, and at the end of the day, it may not be all the Falls Bend project dirt, it may be some other dirt, but in other, embankment agreements I've made with owners, there's always a stipulation in there that any embankment that comes would have to be certified clean hard fills per the PA DEP, it's all this has to be done right on the up and up. And if it quite honestly isn't the Falls Bend project, it could be the next piece coming this way. Please.
Phil, well, you mentioned buildings, so I'm assuming when you place this fill, it'll all be compacted?
It will be compared.
A couple quick questions. We do have a silk pond at the parking lot at the softball fields. So you'll ever take that one?
Well, here's what would happen, or what we would probably want to happen. When we walked out there, in order to maximize your space and my space, I think we can incorporate all that final storm drainage into one, and we could probably build one bigger pond somewhere down here or here. That would all get handled during the engineering phase, but that would be the best thing for you and the best thing for me, so that's what we'd like to.
So we'll try to capture that in a different location and then we can
Correct.
extend that parking. What about, it doesn't look like on the drawing, you're touching the big, catch above the Centennial. You're not touching that bigger one up there. There's a big catch right there. You're not getting that far. You're not getting involved in that.
No, sir.
Okay, that just clarify.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board for Mr. Fox?
Sounds like you guys are perfect. I just don't know.
We will have a formal agreement probably for the board's consideration at the June 1st meeting.
Okay.
I appreciate your time tonight. Are there any more questions for me? If not, I'll leave some of my business cards, I suppose. If anybody wants to email me or contact me, there's also some other hard copies up here in case anybody doesn't have one. And that's that.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks for pulling that up.
Moving on to board reports, Mr. Marburger?
Yeah, we had two meetings last Thursday. The first one was at 6:30 with the authority board. And that meeting, we had, the audit, we went through the audit, everything was fine. There was no deficiencies or problems that arose with that, report. It was handed out to the board, and the same officers were elected for another year. Then at the 7 o'clock meeting, it was pretty standard. They announced graduation would be May 26th at the football stadium, and if it was raining, it would be the next night, May 27th at 6:30 for the VOTEC graduation. And at that meeting also, we elected Bill Haley to be the new treasurer because I'll be going off the board at the end of the year. And the treasurers are always elected in the June meeting, and their term runs from July 1st to July 1st. So the new treasurer take his position on July 1st. Just approved, bill payments, and there was no other business at that point. And the meeting was closed within like 35 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon, or Mr. Marburger. Mr. Hagan, for Foundation.
Oh, yes, a brief update. The Walk Around Mars fundraiser concluded, this past Monday. And I erroneously said that we would be meeting next Tuesday. That is, the election, so we'd have already postponed our meeting to Wednesday next week. I misspoke last week. That's it.
Thank you. Student Council, was anyone from Student Council available this evening? Student Council? Seeing none? Hopefully we'll catch up next month in June. Moving on to public comment on agenda items. Does anyone wish to have public comment on agenda items only?
No, did someone sign up? That's
Yeah.
right.
That's an
That
agenda item.
was an agenda item. I just seen somebody sign up.
It's on that policy.
So, I think his name was Wilson.
Yeah,
Yes.
fourth grade.
Yep.
Yep, that's one.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes, just say your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Kristen Wilson. Our address is 146 McFan Road, Valencia, Pennsylvania. And my son, Noah, would like the 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, I am Noah Wilson and I am in 4th grade in Mrs. Petrina's class. Thank you for letting me speak tonight about charging the Mars Baseball Association for using the fields on school property. I love playing baseball. I have played baseball with the Mars Association since I was in kindergarten. I love the suspense of the game and thinking things like, will the ball come to me? Will I catch it? Will I hit the ball hard and get on base? It's exciting to get hits or make plays, but it's not easy. I practice baseball all the time. I practice with my dad in our yard. I even make my mom and sister play so that we can have family scrimmages. When my friends come over, we always play baseball, but my real practices are with my in-house team and travel team. I'm not the only one who works hard at practice. My whole team works hard. My coaches try their best to make us good players. The team parents love to cheer us on. Some parents and siblings volunteer to work at the concession stands or sell spiritware. I would like to be able to continue to play baseball in the Mars School District, but if the prices have to be bumped up, I'm not sure I will be able to play anymore. The families in the Mars Baseball Association can't afford the cost to play baseball. Kids will have to quit or play somewhere else. I don't think it's fair for the Mars School District to charge so much to use the fields. The Mars Baseball Association builds and maintains some of the fields. The Mars Baseball Association is run by all volunteers. All the money we pay to play goes back to us, the kids. Many people volunteer because they want to support us, the kids in our community. I really want our school district to support us too. Please don't charge us to use the field so we can keep playing the sport we love. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much. Is there any other public comment on agenda items at this point? Is there any other public comment on agenda items? So moving on to the main agenda. I have a motion to approve the minutes, numbers 1 through 4. Kevin, so moved.
Christine, second.
More discussion, comments? Seeing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
That passes. Moving on to personnel on the addendum. Personnel on addendum number 1, first and a second.
Christine, second.
So first and a second. Board discussion.
This is Megan. I'm just grateful that we're finally able to get the teacher's contract wrapped up. Since while we've been on the board, that's been such a hot topic. Thank you to the teachers and to the board members who spent all their time working on this.
Any other board discussion?
This is Dale. As someone who was in the room, I will tell you that negotiations are never easy. It's, but you know what makes it work is you have a group of people working towards the same goal, which is a fair contract. And while it may take us a while to get there sometimes, and it's always worth it in the end, especially when you're working with good people who respect each other and with a commitment to professionalism throughout the process. I'm hopeful that this will pass this evening, and grateful that there'll be some sustainable budget for the taxpayers and a fair contract for the teachers. It's a 6-year deal. Year 1's done, but for a good number of years, and so we can focus on doing what we do best. Thank you.
Any other board discussion?
I'd like to echo Megan's comments about the time and effort put in by board members and the teacher negotiation team. It's a lot of sessions, a lot of hours, a lot of effort, and I appreciate the time spent. I'm glad to see this come to a close, and we'll have 5 years ahead of us. Going forward now.
I would like to thank the board members involved with the negotiation. It was Dale Ferguson, Anthony DePretis, Sally Wick, and Christine Valenta rotated back and forth, and myself.
Yourself.
Yeah, and I was there. So I want to thank the team. There's a lot of hours put in, a lot of hours. So first and second,
John, would you also mention Jill?
oh yeah, Mrs. Sweeney is a good role. Yeah, sorry.
Because Jill, you know, she has the answers. She knows where every dollar is of every single moment, and helps us navigate this, is right by our side every single time. So want to thank her as well. And this is her grand finale.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Dorsch? Yes. Ms. Ferguson? Yes. Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Lance?
Yes.
Mr. Marburger?
Yes.
Ms. Belinda?
Yes.
Ms. Quick?
Yes.
Mr. DePrez?
Yes.
That's 9 yes.
Thank you. The details will be posted on, our website if they're not already.
Yes, they will be posted immediately after the vote, so folks can look for that to be posted here very shortly.
Moving on, addendum, under personnel, number 1 through 8. Can I have a first and a second?
2 through 8. 2 through 8.
Oh, excuse me, 2 through 8, not 1 through 8. Can I have a motion?
Rita, so moved.
Kevin, second?
For discussion?
Welcome to the new teachers and other employees.
Any other board discussion? Yes, thank you for the new hires, and it's gonna be a great year. All in favor, aye? Opposed, nay? So moving on to the main agenda under finance. Can I have a motion for numbers 1 through 9 on the main agenda under finance?
Christine, so moved.
Megan, second.
First and a second, board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye? Opposed, nay? So that carries. On the main agenda under finance, number 10, can I have a motion?
Rita, so moved. Dale, second.
First and a second, board discussion?
This is Megan. I'll be voting no to this, not because I'm not happy with our representation. They do a great job for us, but just simply because it is raising the rates, and we asked our administrators to take a pay freeze this year, and there's, been a lot of work on this budget, and I just don't think that's fair.
Any other board discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Lance? No. Mr. Marburger?
Yes.
Ms. Belinda?
Yes.
Ms. Wood? Yes. Mr. DePrez?
Yes.
Ms. Dorsch? Yes. Ms. Ferguson? Yes. That's 8 yes and 1 no.
Thank you, so that passes. On the main agenda under finances, number 11, can I have a first and a second?
Kevin, so moved.
Sally, second.
Board discussion?
I'd like to thank Jill and the administration team on their hard work on this. It's quite a remarkable feat. There's a lot of speculation that we're going to have to raise taxes, and we've managed to get through this year. Granted, there was some federal funding that helped that significantly. Otherwise, we probably would have had to. So I'm very excited that we can present a budget that is with a 0 tax increase.
This is Megan. This budget has a lot of positives, but the elephant in the room is that if we had not been given federal funds, we would have been unable to fund this budget this year due to the cyber charter bill. If there was not federal money, we would have possibly had to go to a referendum or to raise above the 3%. And I just don't want to see us in that position again. This budget has so much needed additions to it, but there's some important things that are missing. I don't feel it's responsible to vote yes to a budget that has no buffer for the unknown. If students do not return from cyber school next year, it will require for us to take money from the fund balance, unless, we weren't to fill open positions or buy items that are budgeted for. The fund balance would then be lower than I feel is prudent. We could not have planned for COVID-19, but we know that next year might still have some curveballs. We can't be sure what's going to happen. Another factor we're not taking into consideration is we still have to finalize the support staff contract as well as our technology contract. There's a lot of people voting on this budget who won't be here next year for the repercussions from it. And those of you who are running for these positions on this board, pay close attention, you're inheriting this. Every dollar spent here, whether it's federal, state, or local, is all tax dollars that come to us. and it's an investment in our community. If these dollars aren't being utilized appropriately, it's our job to make sure that we realign them. And we know that there's more kids coming in this community. You look around and you can see it. There was no way to prepare for COVID-19, but we can prepare for a better future here at Mars.
Any other board discussion?
I just would ask, this is Christine, I'd ask that the public take the time to review the budget that's being posted for 30-day review and share their thoughts and suggestions with the board over the next 30-day period. I think there is room for some additional resources within the district. However, I understand what the challenges of the year have been as well. So I would just ask that the public take the time to review it and share their feedback with the board. Thank you.
Any other board discussion?
Along those lines, I guess, Dr. Gerst, if you wouldn't mind, maybe at some point, you and the administration maybe kind of think through a little bit, playing off of what Christine just said. We are with the number of students we have going to cyber school. We all know that, and that there's no way to plan for that, and we'll make adjustments as needed. As the students return from cyber school, which is our intent, obviously the first order of business is to replace the funds that are being used from the ESSER funds right now. After that, maybe you could start thinking of a list of priorities that you would like to see that extra revenue applied to as we get the return from some of the cyber school students. I mean, it's prudent to look to the future and understand where we're going to spend that money, but we would need to make sure that we have it first. So just a thought, maybe we could start to look at that way we're planning for success and for the students to return.
Thank you. Any other board discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Ms. Lenz?
No.
Mr. Morberger?
Yes.
Ms. Valenta?
Yes.
Ms. Wick?
Yes.
Mr. Perez?
Yes.
Ms. Dorff?
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan?
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Thank you. I would like to thank Ms. Sweeney for working through the budget and Ms. Brandstetter for kind of sitting back and learning the ropes. So now she knows how to do it for following years, hopefully. Moving on to under finance, under main agenda, number 12 through 16. There, first and a second.
Megan, so moved.
Christine, second.
Board discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay? That passes. On the main agenda, under programs, number 1, can I have a first and a second?
Adam, so moved.
Christine, second.
A first and a second, board discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay? On the main agenda, under policies, number 1, can I have a first and a second?
Gail, so moved. Rita, second.
So first and second, board discussion.
I would just comment that the major change was the insertion of Safe to Say instead of the district safety hotline. So otherwise, the policies were still pretty much intact. It was just updating our safety mechanism in the verbiage in the policies. That was a significant change in the reposting.
Thank you. Any other board discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay? Passes. The main agenda under policies number 2, can I have a first and a second?
Christine, first.
Kevin, second. I have first and a second. Board discussion?
This is Megan. I just had a question. So for this policy, it's the one that relates to the community use of school facilities in order to make it more affordable for people to use it, the volunteer run organizations. I'm very glad to see the rates for the fields have been reduced. Hopefully they'll be waived up until now so that the Mars Baseball Association is able to afford to keep their programs affordable for kids. My only question is, it doesn't appear that the indoor fees have changed at all, and I was curious if anyone could tell me how much it costs, because I saw that there's a custodian rate of $40, and then it used to be $5 for people to rent the rooms inside, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, basketball, that kind of thing, and now it's $35. And so I just want to make sure we're looking at this policy globally and ensuring that there's no organization that's not going to be able to afford to do what they're trying to do here. And I didn't know if it's because it's costing $35 an hour for the school district to have someone utilize this space, or if we're somehow making any money off of that, since there's also the custodian rate on top of it.
Ms. Sweeney?
There's typically not a custodian rate on weekdays,
Okay.
because the custodians are already there. The custodial rate usually, comes into play during the weekend.
The $40 rate.
Yes, and like when the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts rent a classroom, we don't get that much rental on those types of rooms. If they're there before 6 PM, they're free. So when they do their after school meets, we're typically not paying anything.
So they don't pay the $35.
Right in there, it says anything, up to 6 PM on weekdays.
What about the gymnasium for youth basketball?
The gymnasiums, again, 4 to 6, if they're class C, wouldn't have a fee, but they typically don't occur before 6, because, typically the coaches are coming from work and whatnot, but they don't have to pay on top of, and they've been paying the indoor fee for years and years, that was never new. It was the outside organizations that were not accustomed to paying that fee. So in the evenings, during the weekdays, there's no additional custodian fees charged on top of that, because our custodians are already in the buildings. There's plenty of people in the buildings, and then whatever coming up needs or that, they just leave it to the normal work day.
Okay, so this policy, the change to $35 from the $5 or whatever, because we got that email where someone said it used to be $5 and then it got up to $35.
That was for the wrestling room, I believe.
Okay,
Was the only one that actually remember being $5.
so there's no volunteer run community organization that's now not going to be able to afford to utilize the property for their.
I don't know the personal finances.
Well, they have to change.
Yeah.
Is what
But
I'm
this $35 has been in place for a couple of years. And if you're getting complaints about it,
Got that one. I'm just curious.
just that one, yeah.
Any other board discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Ferguson,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy,
Yes.
Ms. Lynn,
Yes.
Mr. Malberger,
Yes.
Ms. Juanza,
Yes.
Mr. Capredes,
Yes.
Ms. Dorr,
Yes.
that's 9 yes.
Thank you.
Sean, you should mention the waiving.
Oh,
What can I say?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if everyone would notice that in the motion that just passed, it's the adoption of the revised policy, but it also waives the 30-day posting period. The reason for that is that means that these new reduced fees go into effect immediately, so that the seasons, so the sports or for the activities that are in season now, they will begin to be billed, thank you, for the lower rate. If we were to post for 30 days, then there would obviously be delay for those for the reduced fees to kick in. So in the interest of hearing what we've heard and responding accordingly, I just wanted to point out that that's why we are expediting the adoption of this policy, so that the new fee structure goes in place sooner.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. So on the main agenda, under others, numbers 1 and 2, and on addendums, numbers 1 and 2. Can I have a first and a second?
Charlie, so moved. Rita, second.
Board discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, nay? That passes. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. Moving on to main agenda, public comment? Anyone wishes to have public comment at this point? Does anyone wish to have public comment at this point? Ms. Dunn, if you can unmute and give us your name and address.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
It's Kelly Dunn, 136 Vista Ridge Lane, Valencia.
Thank you.
My comment is you didn't actually address what the fees were going to be for lowered. A big part of this was the gym fees for basketball organizations as well. It was $18 an hour, and then it was raised to $35 an hour this past year. So can you tell me what the new rate is for a gym fee?
Wasn't changed, it's not changed. No rates were changed, for indoor facilities. This was to address the $100 an hour rate that was in place for the outside facilities, bring it down to $35.
Kelly, can you hear that?
Yeah, it does.
I can hear that. So the gym fee is still $35 an hour for all gymnasiums in the school district, plus the $40 custodian fee on the weekends. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. You've just made it very difficult for all other organizations other than baseball to afford to continue programs for kids in the district. I know I sent you a detailed letter outlining other districts and what they do in their organizations. And I appreciate what you've done for Mars Baseball, but there are other kids in the district who play other activities or involved, parents who are volunteers and heavily involved in basketball, wrestling, who use the indoor facilities as well. And I'm just very disappointed that that didn't address that as well. That's all I have to say.
And Joe, what is it that it costs that much to run the room? I think what I'm trying to understand, what I'm struggling to understand is the school district profiting off of renting these rooms?
It was done to recoup, utility fees for, those gymnasiums are large areas. And they need to be maintained at a certain temperature when you're running out the facilities. There are also costs of all those people utilizing restrooms, and there's, they're in the other facilities. It's not like a one cost item. Keep in mind that those are used by outside organizations, not necessarily our educational program. So there's a cost to the taxpayers every time facilities are open.
And if it was for like Mars youth basketball, would it be that they're the taxpayers utilizing the facility?
Well, again, those are board decisions to set the rates of the facilities. When this was brought to the board a couple of years ago, it was done not to make a profit, but to cover costs. And to be in line with other area school districts.
All right, is there any other public comment at this point? Anyone else wish to have public comment? Seeing none, we're going to move on. MAEA, is there someone from the association this evening? Is Mr. Black going to represent the MAEA?
Yes, can you hear me? I've been asked to speak because.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, Sharon can't make it. She's still caring for family. Joe's tied up, and Shelley is going to be at play practice until 10:30 p.m. tonight. So she probably won't get her head on the pillow till midnight, and that's the dedication to the arts. So I'm just going to say a few things on behalf of MAEA. What a kind of a singular day of highs and lows. It's what a great moment to have a contract in place and have that dark cloud cleared so we all as teachers can focus 100% on what we really love to do, which is teaching. And I just want to thank all the teachers who are on that negotiating team for the long, long nights, the the smarts, intelligence, the patient, and then somehow, again, I don't know how they do this, showing up the next day enthusiastic, supportive, and there for their students. It's just another type of human being. But just a lot of respect and thanks that the MAE wants to put out to them. A little bit low, still feeling bad for elementary teachers who don't have a guaranteed planning period. I don't know how they do that, to be on task, full focus for hours on end like that, and where simply wavering distraction for a moment can lead to disaster. So as Teacher Appreciation Week comes to a close, man, buy those people a cup of coffee, give them, wait, I guess you can't give them a hug yet, right? Soon, someday, hopefully soon. Give them a hug for everything they've done. Had a great Friday. The Dr. Gross came into the high school, and I found that we're starting to take it by the reins and trying to get Mars teachers 100% involved in cyber, which would be great to bring all those students back in the community where they belong. I wish it was done years ago, but it's never too late to do the right thing. And so I'm pretty excited. We're doing some curriculum alignment at this point, and I can't wait for the next steps to go forward. And with the new year coming, I know we're not done with this year yet. I might have given away maybe the way a lot of teachers are feeling is we can't wait till it comes to an end. But with the new year coming, looking forward to being involved in professional development, getting back on track with program development, getting some kind of normalcy back. MAE really wants to get involved in that. And looking forward to, with a new school board, I hear again another board meeting where all I hear is taxpayers and teachers, taxpayers and teachers. Man, it would be great to have a school board member come in and the first word out of their lips is students. That would be fantastic. That would be, I mean, at that point, I don't think I can ask for anything more. So I just want to, thank you for your time. And if I forgot anything, Joe, or if I forgot anything, Shelley, my apologies, but just got done cooking dinner for everyone at the house here, so I had to put it together pretty fast. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Administration, Dr. Gross?
Yeah, just a couple things. First of all, prior to tonight's board meeting, we had a retirement dinner for all of our retirees. And it was a good evening for me. Didn't get a chance to work with all of them throughout their careers, but I just want to congratulate all of our NASD retirees and wish them the very best as they move forward outside of the district. So it was a very good evening. The other thing I'd like to talk about is Mr. Black alluded to this week. We had an Act 80 day last Friday. We began the process of aligning our curriculum. The Mars Area Cyber Academy is going to be a very important focus, especially as we lead into the fall. And the reason I say that is, I'll tell you why in a minute. But the first steps that we've taken this year is to get our Mars Area Cyber Academy, with the help of the teachers, taking a look at the curriculum, the core curriculum, and deciding what needs aligned. So that gives us a summer to get those courses that aren't aligned much more aligned with the traditional setting. Which leads into a second meeting we had on Friday. We've been telling everybody that, we were going to have an LSI committee this year. That was a very tough year. You've heard the testimonials from various folks on LSI. So we met on Friday. We met with a group of teachers that represented MAEA for the LSI committee. We discussed what we need to look forward to next year. And going back to why the Mars Area Cyber Academy alignment is so important. Next year, I am strongly recommending that LSI as we know it is no longer. We would like to have two options for parents. One, return for parents, for their students, for their children. One would be live instruction, business as usual. Everybody welcome, hoping to get students back and get a sense of normalcy here in the district. The second option would be our Mars Area Cyber Academy. We would ask that those who perhaps don't want to return to live instruction, that they do take a good strong look at our Cyber Academy. As Mr. Black said, our first year is alignment. Our second year, hopefully, will be to start linking teachers, Mars area teachers to that, and I'll keep the board abreast of our progress, but year one is just curricular alignment. LSI, going back to when I arrived here July 1st, very crazy year, as we all know. I said this at the last meeting, but I'll say it again. LSI as we know it, in my very firm opinion, and I believe the teachers agree, we need to eliminate that as an instructional option if we truly want Mars Area School District to be excellent and the teachers having the ability to deliver high quality instruction each and every day without the distractions or being compromised. They've done a fantastic job, a terrific job. This past year with COVID, I look at LSI, I'm a very visual person, I continue to say, we needed a lifeboat. LSI was our lifeboat, wasn't maybe the most sturdy structure that we could get in, but we needed something to navigate. LSI was that. As we become somewhat more normal, as a lot of the restrictions start to lift and the vaccinations continue to occur, I think the greatest thing for this district to move Mars from good to great is to eliminate LSI as an option. So we're looking at next year, two options. One, return to live instruction, and two, Mars Area Cyber Academy. LSI would only be used next year in one situation, and that is if contact tracing continues and mandatory quarantines are required across the state. Our teachers were great in that meeting, and they fully understood the fact that if we have students who are electing live instruction, and if there's contact tracing and that requires a child to remain home, the only fair thing to do for that child is to allow them to Zoom in, like they've done this year, and that's when LSI would be implemented. Again, I can't say it strong enough because I want the community to be very aware. I want our students to be very aware. They need to start focusing on returning to normal, getting back here. Mars Area School District, I know I speak on behalf of the teachers. They're very excited to have them back. I know they're extremely excited to try to get back to what they do best, and that is live instruction. So there'll be more on that. The last thing I'd like to end with is, as we talk about things returning to normal, May 31st is the last day that we are required to have in-place gathering limits. As you know, the gathering limits have kept us here doing the board meetings virtually. So once July 1st hits, the July board meetings, again, we're trying to create a sense of normalcy. We would like to resume in-person board meetings. Or in June, I'm sorry. Yeah, in June, we'd like to resume in-person board meetings. We will still have our social distancing and masking requirements in place. And at this time, we can discuss, but my recommendation would be that we continue to provide the Zoom, should those folks that can't actually make the physical meeting can at least listen in as they do now and participate. But that being said, very tough year, very different year, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm looking forward to working all summer to get us back to a situation where the Mars Area School District has a sense of normalcy again, and we can continue to do great things. And again, I continue to say move from good to great. We can only do that with live in-person instruction and giving the teachers the opportunity to focus that way and welcome our students back. So more to come on that, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Griff. Dr. McMahon.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Ms. Sweeney,
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Branstad, Mr. Glosser, Mr. Colson, I know you had something.
Yeah, I just, the administration, on behalf of the board, asked me to attend the Adams Township open house because it conflicted with your board meetings, and wanted me to go down and review what was going on with the 3-degree road and Valencia project.
Hey, Mr. Colson, can you sit at that table so the microphone will pick up?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Sorry.
So this is just a summation I warn you that these documents, the first two documents, they're pulled right off of the Adams Township website. So you can see the project tracker is here. You can see right now, I believe the township is in the preparing bids or advertising bids phase. If you look at that second page, that's just the engineering outline of the time. I just noticed it reflects the project tracker page. And I pulled both of those documents off the township's website. When I went to the open house, they pretty much had all the schematics of the 3 Degree Road, Valencia Road project, rollback project. So they had it laid out in 3 phases, and they had the opportunity for residents to discuss with township officials and PennDOT officials about the scope of the project. Very detailed plans in regards to the layout and how they laid it all out into their boardroom. After talking with one PennDOT representative, I found out the 3 phases of the project that I'm not sure if the board is aware of. So I went to Google Maps and I developed a little piecemeal map project of the different phases for you so that you know where they're starting. So, and that first phase 1 is Valencia to Senate Court. And Senate Court is a road that enters into Adams Crossing. You can see where the X is for Senate Court. And then the lines there, that's the first phase coming from Valencia. Your second phase is Docks Way. Right after Docks Way or before Docks Way, I'm not exactly sure. But it's right around that area and it goes then to Hammond Road. The third phase is Hammond Road to Union Church Road. And then obviously those are the projects that would be completed on those phases. I'm not an engineer, I'm a principal. So when PennDOT is talking about and showing all the drawings, I don't know the scope of all of those projects and what's going on. They're bringing the road in phases up to specs to then be handed over to the district. So what means up to specs? We would have to talk to someone else about what exactly they're doing with that road.
You mean to the township?
To the township, yes.
To the district, we don't want.
I'm sorry, we don't want that. I meant the township, sorry.
That's okay.
One of the most interesting parts of the project is though, that if you take a look at the last page, they're not doing anything in those phases between Senate Court and Docks Way. Why? Because that is going to be included in the 228 project. And that's where it would have the most impact on the district and the district's properties and, sidewalks and construction and our entrances and things like that. So, in summation, that was the open house, and all the information that I got, and just wanted to provide that to you. You could ask me any questions if you wanted to, but I probably wouldn't be able to answer it all for you. So. Well, that's interesting that you said that because I am also an appointed member and a voting member of Trail Adams. I met with Trail Adams before going over to the open house, and I love Trail Adams' concept. It's about community. It's about using recreation, biking, hiking, equestrian, whatever that might be, to connect our community together. And you can see that, I don't necessarily know that it was Trail Adams that was the driving force behind the township making some adoptions for specs or new developments coming in that they must have some trails or walking paths. I think that there's probably some connection there between some members of that committee and the board of supervisors and developers as well. So I think it was a thought process, a collective thought process in the township that is a good thing to have, to make more of a sense of community. So as far as Docks Way to the township, that would be the phase, what is it, 2? Docks Way to Hammond Road. A little difficult getting from our school district from Docks Way to the township building. I talked to Russ Ford a little bit about that at the meeting. Obviously, there's some area there, homes there that they would have some problems. So that's one of their stumbling blocks right now. How do we connect the Adams Township building to the Mars School District via that route? When the Valencia, from as far as the Senate Court route, there will be a connection to 228 and crossing 228 to the Mars Middle School and the whole way up to Docks Way with sidewalks and a walking trail. So I believe that stays on the side of Mars Middle School and up to Docks Way. So the disconnect right now as far as the trails to the township is Docks Way to the township building.
Or the crossover.
Yeah.
At least a phone cross.
If the district should look into, if we're doing something with obviously the entrance, we should obviously, the new entrance to the middle school. I don't know what that means as far as our connection to Centennial School and how that could happen maybe out of that project, but that's something that this board should probably take a look at as well. I know that we own some property right up to almost that building. It might be something that we should probably take a look at as a district to make a connection to the middle school and into the Centennial as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Folsom, and thank you for taking that on. Adam, did you have anything?
Yeah, just a few things from Centennial. The first thing is we have 6th graders, 2 classrooms, Ms. Slowick and Mr. D'Alessandra's room. They are doing a drive for the Butler County Humane Society. So what the kids did earlier in the year, they used their creative writing skills to develop pamphlets on animals that are up there right now for adoption. After they were graded and scored, they were sent up to the Butler Humane Society. They're posted everywhere up there. So when people come in looking for an animal, they can use that to find the information so they don't have to ask questions. So we also did a drive to help them out. We did that last year. We're doing it again this year. So this week, if you have any items that you can donate, that would be greatly appreciated. There is a wish list from the Butler Humane Society on my newsletter. Just click the link. I believe you can donate right from that. If not, you can bring it into Centennial. We're gathering all week and it'll be taken up at the end of the week. The second thing, as Dr. Gross talked about getting back to some normalcy, we are going to do a Centennial Field Day on May 21st. That's going to be an all-day outdoor event. So that in the past, make sure kids are bringing their sunscreen to apply and that they have water bottles with them. And then the final thing, with the restrictions lifted, we are going to do a DARE graduation on June 1st at 1:30 p.m. We are going to be inviting families to that. So more to come on details with that regarding the graduation and everything. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Mr. White?
Yeah, real quick, our 4th graders, were over to Centennial today to get a tour of the building as they'll be transitioning next year. So part of our transition, they went, like I said, today. Learning support students went last week on a special little tour that they had a much smaller group to get them acclimated. So the more time we get them over there, the better off they are as they travel over there. It's a big change, switching classes, that sort of thing, but they still travel together. Lockers, the whole deal, are very excited to go. They were coming back today, and Miss like, I can't wait. Miss like, I'm scared to death. So I said, you'll be fine. Mr. Fox was just nice. You'll be okay. So, our 1st graders are coming down from PC on the 21st and 24th to tour the elementary building. It's a much bigger building than the PC is, but they'll be coming down as incoming 2nd graders next year to get them acclimated to that building a little bit, just so they get to see it. I know this past year with COVID shutting everything down last year, this kids didn't have that option. And it was a deer in the headlights for the 2nd graders, and they walked in like, oh my goodness.
this building's big, where do I go? So, that really helped with them getting them acclimated, getting that, anxiety out of those little ones as they transition down. MAE will be doing fun days as well. Since the building's so big, we're not gonna do it all in one day. We're doing the 27th, 28th, and June 1st. So the PTO usually runs those things with thousands of parent volunteers everywhere. And, this year we can't have that. So the teachers have, taken that on. It won't be to the scope that it used to be, and it was in years past just because of the lack of volunteers we can't have, but it still will take place. So it'll be 3 different days. So looking forward to that as the closeout is very, very unconventional year. It's a little bit of fun for the kids. It's been rough this year, as Dr. Gross alluded to, Mr. Black alluded to, but it's been very, very successful. I've had many conversations with teachers about how far ahead I think our kids are going to be since we were in school all year. And I'm going to finish up with just saying, I see the effort every day that the teachers and support staff and everybody at MAE gives every day. And I can't say enough about how proud I am of them, of the work they did this year. Hats off to them, just unbelievable, fantastic. And I witnessed it, and I know it's like that in every building, but I saw it firsthand. And they just put it all out there and did what they had to do to get it done. And I can't say enough, as the leader of that building, thank you so much for that. You guys have really worked your tails off. The professionalism they showed, just every day coming in and doing their best for the kids. I knew that anyway. This year it was really, really tough, being on camera all day and just working hard to meet those students' needs every day. So I thank the parents for their trust they put in us this year to make it a safe environment for their kids in the middle of a pandemic, going to school every day. Where a lot of districts didn't do that. So thank you for the parents and the trust they had in us. Thanks to the board for the support they gave us this year, and thanks a lot to Dr. McManus, Dr. Gross, and their leadership through this. So thank everybody, and I just can't say enough about the effort that everyone from top to bottom is giving this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Mr. Morgan?
I just wanted to also note, to thank the teaching staff for what they were able to accomplish this year. My department in particular threw a lot of technology at them in very rapid succession, and they were able to adjust and change their methods of instruction and make the best of this year. And as far as the community students too, they were really unbelievable in adjusting to what we had to put forth for them, especially with LSI. Just note too, for students and community, you'll see some communication very shortly about collection of all those devices. But for the most part, all of that will occur during that short 3-day week, the first week of June, and that will be both for traditional and LSI students.
Thank you. I don't think I missed any administrators. So we're on the board comment. A board comment about the close of year.
To say that prom, I was just thankful that our kids got to have prom because the administration worked so hard to put one together. It was a great weekend for the kids. And I'm also thankful that we got the teacher contract finalized. I'm looking forward to working together with the teachers and looking together to bring some positivity to the district and work forward, becoming good to great, as Dr. Gross said. So glad that's done and we can move forward.
Any other board comment?
This is Christine. I too look forward. I'm thankful that the teacher union approved the collective bargaining agreement this evening, and I'm very thankful that the 5-year contract will allow the district to do appropriate budgeting for the next 5 years out. So that will help tremendously in the long-term planning that the district has to do. I am really hopeful that we will come shortly to agreement on the support contract. I feel like we're real close. I hope we're going to get there. I know we're going to get there. I just hope we get there sooner rather than later. It's a big part of the budget, and would definitely like to see both sides work together to reach an agreement.
Any other board comment? A lot of things are coming up here at the end of the year. We have graduation, so back to the parking lot graduation, correct?
Yes, correct.
it seemed like it went well last year, so we'll try it again this year. It'll be great.
Future.
And then get back to normal next month with, in-person meetings.
And just so you know, some folks had asked because the May 31st, the gathering limitations lift. It was just unfortunate timing that we had that announced because as you know, some of the board members joined me on a conference call at the graduation planning committee and Lindsay Roswald. There's just so much planning that goes into a graduation. And we decided upon the safest place to do that would be the parking lot again. And then the restrictions looked like they were lifting and we were getting questions on were we going to change anything. And announcements had already been made and plans had already been made. And yeah, I was not here last year, but I hear awesome things. And I like the fact that it feels more like a celebration than a ceremony. So I'm actually looking forward to it. And hopefully our graduating seniors and their parents feel the same. So yeah, it will be a parking lot graduation. And again, the announcement about the gathering limits came almost too late to change the course on that. But it'll be a great evening. It'll be a great end of the school year.
It's a new March tradition.
Yes.
So we are going to have a closed session for legal and personnel afterwards. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Megan, so moved.
7 seconds.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, and have a great rest of the May.